Hi and welcome to another episode of Creatives on the Couch. Thank you for joining us. Now, we're going to talk about something a little bit different today. Comic Cons, whether you know what they are or not, by the end of this episode, you will know all about them. They have swept the world over the last few years, and today we have got one of the biggest and the best in the world with us. From Monopoly Events is Andy Kleek.
Hello.
Hello there, how are you?
Hi, it's great to finally get you here.
Thank you for getting me down.
Busy man.
I am indeed, like yourself.
I mean, seriously, you never stop, do you? I mean, the empire that you're building is unbelievable.
No, there's a lot of hours go into it. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's a full-time job. It's kind of what you see is what we're putting into it. We're putting a hell of a lot into it, and obviously, to build shows the way we're doing, and go to different territories and open new shows all the time takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication.
I mean, do you know what Comic Cons have you ever been?
No, I was going to say, for the viewers that don't know, what is a Comic Con?
So Comic Cons have changed over the last 20 years. They've been, previously, if you went 20 years ago, they'd probably be more like comic markets, and it was more, kind of a geek thing. I think, but there's been a shift over the last 10 years, definitely, where, like, if you look at our lineups now, we put on a lot of big celebrity guests that are like current, from current franchises on Netflix, like we were saying before, like Wednesday, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai. So obviously, like, these are people that people know when they see on the TV. So obviously, you get a lot of general public coming down, a lot of families coming down who bring the kids who want to see these people. We do put a lot of retro guests on as well. So that's the reason I started these shows. I started off completely kind of booking 80s guests, but then obviously as we've seen the demand for all the current TV programs, we've over the last 5 years we've started booking a lot more current stuff, and obviously that's why the shows are selling out the way they are.
Because like I said, they're selling out. You're everywhere. Monopoly has gone everywhere, hasn't it? Really, and your brand, which is for the love of. That the moment you see that, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah, the first show that we did was we originally started as a Star Wars event, and that's where it all came from. I'm a Star Wars fan. The reason I started doing these events was basically I love Star Wars basically. So I had an idea to do Star Wars convention in 2015. It's only 7-8 years ago now, and from that we kind of checked. The year after we changed it to for the love of sci-fi, and we encompassed everything, sci-fi. We did a couple of years, and then after that, we kind of like just seen the opportunities and the demand in different areas, and it was a quick progression really. From doing one show in 2015, we've gone to doing 15 in 2023. We've gone through COVID as well, because obviously we had a 2-year gap. So the progression and the explosion has been, it's been incredible.
It's just you need to go. Seriously, you need to go. You can, Andy brings the biggest, and his team bring like I said, the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
And for me as a film fan, and coming to your events and seeing what you've created, it's unlike anything that I have ever been to. I've been hosting Comic Cons for a very long time, all over the world.
Yeah.
But there's something different about yours. You care about your guests, don't you? And you care about the people that you're selling to.
I think that's it. I think we had a motto, by the fans, for the fans. So obviously we created the shows as a fan, and that was the basis of it really. And we never forget, the ethos and where we came from, basically. No matter how big we get, we always want to stay true to our roots, and obviously remember that it was a fan-driven show that basically came onto the scene, and we don't want to ever, like say, lose our heart with that. No matter how big we get, no matter how many shows we're selling out, like with Liverpool. That one's currently selling out with 40,000 people.
Yeah.
We're working with the venue to create, and the council and Market in Liverpool to create a festival area in the whole of the docks.
Okay.
When we do that next year, it'll be an 80,000 capacity event. So yeah, it's just like I say, it's just gone from strength to strength. But
it's unbelievable, because the last one that I went to of Andy's just before COVID was like I you guys know, you hear me talk about this all the time at home. I've got my bucket list and my dream list, and for Liverpool it was the never-ending story, wasn't it? It was the reunion.
Yeah.
So you've got the cast there, and then the sets from the movie. So I
think you're like myself. I think we're 80s kids, so like stuff like that. That's what really gets me. So the
80s as well.
Yeah.
Are you an 80s kid as well?
That?
Just
a never-ending story.
Yes,
what a show!
The stars and the reunions that that you've done over the last few years have been unreal. Lost Boys, Keith Sutherland and Jason Patrick.
That was a special one, that,
But all of the cast, and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow. Yeah, that was, to be honest, that was a personal favourite. I mean, we built Willy Wonka's boat, so you could get a picture with all the kids on the boat. But then I kind of had my own little moment on that one.
I saw.
I actually put a little bit on Facebook. So we were showing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the cinema. So I grabbed Peter, took him in, and then he was I was sat there watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with him. So yeah, that was a moment.
But it was, I think that was something really special, especially with the anniversary coming up. To bring them all back together, and the Oompa Loompa there as well, and to listen to their stories and hearing them talk about it. Again, for me, 80s kid, grew up on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Lost Boys is iconic. Where do you get your ideas from to do these reunions?
I think originally, like we say, the original, because we started off like years ago, we was doing Battlestar Galactica reunions. It was things that I'd seen on TV that obviously, resonated with me as an 80s kid. So it was all 80s reunions, but obviously now, we've kind of, recently, the last few years, we're obviously doing, Stranger Things, Wednesday, all these type of things. So, it's, I think people love that when you can get a picture with the full cast. And also sometimes as well, like the Lost Boys, we did the cave, as a backdrop. So then it's a real once in a lifetime thing, because obviously you can get a picture kind of in the movie set with the guests, so.
And same for The Shining as well. You did brought the Shining twins over, didn't you?
Yeah, we did,
and then Terrified. I mean, love of horror.
That's your thing,
and they when you feel so emotional that it kind of chokes you back a little bit. I kind of feel like that when I come to love of horror.
I think that one's a real special one. I think the one that we did in 2018 with the Lost Boys. Yeah. When you get feedback for a show, when you've done a good show and you get the feedback. But with that one, like if you look on the reviews of the page, it was literally. It brought a tear to your eyes because there was that many people not just saying, "Oh, it was a great show, loved it." They were saying it was just not one, not two, but countless. It was the best moment of my life. It was like it's changed my life. These kind of comments. You're like, really?
I think this is like because Lost Boys was so iconic. And suddenly the whole cast is walking in front of you.
Exactly.
And
I think the biggest moment for that, what made it so special, was Tim Capello performing. I Still Believe. So like literally when he was performing that, and you literally had you had the actual the guests like Billy Worth stood in the audience watching Tim Capello performing that track, and it was like stepping into the movie. So for people who were fans of that stuff, that's a game changing stuff and memories that they're never ever gonna forget.
And you've just done Universal Soldier.
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that was. To be honest, that one has been 5 years in the making.
Seriously?
I'm friends with JC.
Yeah,
and
look at that, JC. I love it. Yeah.
I think I've texted him about probably once a month for 5 years, at least. And some months I've been calling him and putting it in his mind and trying to lock him down and trying to get Dolph as well. So to make that one happen, it was a special one for me.
So how does it take you to plan something like that? Say you've got one in...
Yeah, we plan a full year really to plan a show, But then we're booking now for 2 years in advance, so obviously we're putting the dates in there, but then, to do a show properly, it's a good 12 months. It's all a planning preparation. You take, this 3 to 6 months of booking guests, but then some guests, it carries on for a full year. It's like the Universal Soldier one. We only confirmed that, I think it was 6 weeks before the show.
Right.
So it kind of came to light that JC was in Europe and then Dolph was as well, and it kind of, looked good. So then it took a few weeks of negotiating, but we got that really last minute. So sometimes you can get nice surprises last minute, and sometimes things happen. Someone might be filming somewhere where they say, "Oh, such a body's there," and you're like, "Well, can't refuse this. I need to just get it on." But usually we like to get a guest out.
So, as well as obviously your Universal Soldier reunion, I think I keep going back to my experiences because I just love it so much.
Exciting.
I just love it. Andy knows, he's known me for a very long time. He knows how excited I get. You brought someone to Manchester who is a global icon, one of the greatest actors that has ever lived, and is one of the most terrifying beings on film. He brought Tim Curry. Pennywise from Stephen King's It.
Yeah, that took a lot of work.
I mean, but to have, you also had the Rocky Horror cast, Patricia Quinn, Chris Biggins, Stephen Calcutt was there, and but Tim Curry.
I think I think it was the most complete Rocky Horror reunion there's been, to be fair. Yeah. And like I say, that was a to see people crying and it is a special. That's why we do these shows. We to get them reactions out of people where you get people crying and thanking you and stuff like that. That's the whole reason we do it. That's the reaction you wait to see.
The set was unreal because you were projecting all of his movies around him. You had Home Alone 2, Pennywise, Clue, all Legion. They were all projected around him on these screens, and to walk into that arena, I know you guys set it up, but for us to walk into that arena, it actually took your breath away.
Yeah, thank you. Great.
It was amazing, but obviously you worked with him quite a lot. We only saw him for a few moments. What was he like?
It was great. He was amazing. So it's just down to earth guy. Really, really, pleasant to be around. And he, like I say, he even though he's getting old now, he wanted to do it for the fans. He literally wanted to come over to see his UK fans. So it was a special booking, that one. It really was
one of the best. But going back to your childhood, okay, were you always interested in films and is this where it all stems from?
Yeah, totally. I think going back to the earliest things, Gremlins. Watching it at the cinema, which we can talk about later on the Metro. Gremlins is one of the first films I remember seeing. Ghostbusters, Star Wars, so all these type of films. This is where it all came from. So I think for me, it was the love of the 80s. I just loved stuff from that era. It was I was a massive fan of cult movies like that, like we all were. So that's where all this came from, really.
What was your favourite movie?
Do you know what? Blast from the Past, Gremlins.
Gremlins,
Zach Geigen. What a guy!
It's crazy now. It's like Zach. He's a close friend, like a personal friend. Hi, Zach. And
we'll get you on.
Yeah. But he's such and I've got some messages on Facebook from him on my phone, and we have jokes about Gizmo and stuff, and I look at it sometimes and you pinch yourself and you think, imagine the little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, and you go, you know what, when you're older you'll be friends with this guy and you'll be cracking jokes with him and stuff. You'd be like, don't know about that.
So obviously you've got wishes, haven't you? Your mind never stops working. Dreams, what would be something, a reunion?
A reunion? I think. To be honest, I'd love to tell you, but it's under wraps.
Oh, okay. Right, okay, well we've got that one. So we've done Shining, we've gone down. Goonies would be a great one to do. Ghostbusters.
Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies. Well,
that was one of my favourites.
Goonies would be amazing. Could you imagine?
Let's not talking about that one.
Could you imagine?
You might just see something.
Stop it! Maybe got an exclusive there. Ghostbusters would be great.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you could get Bill Murray?
I know, Bill and Dan would be amazing. Sigourney Weaver as well.
You see, for me, there's one that I would love you to do, and I mean seriously, because I am obsessed and I own so much from the movie, a lot of it. It would be Angelica Houston as Grand High Witch.
Oh right, yeah.
So
we've done a signing with her.
Really?
Yeah, we've done a signing with her. So
you see, I know Charlie Potter, who played Bruno in the movie, and the times that we've spoke, and he's like, why has a Witches one never been done with Jane Horrocks? Bill Paterson had built for it as well. Yeah. And I was like, I know just the guy to speak to. But can you imagine a photo call with Angelica as the Grand High Witch?
It would be something else.
Which just so happens to, I own quite a bit from the movie, so we'll talk about it later. But if you could get Angelica.
We'll work on that.
Look at me how excited I'm getting.
And what about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah, it's another good one. Yeah, it would, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
Rick is making another one called Shrunk.
We have been speaking to him.
Have you?
Yes, we have, yeah.
Look at this! Have you seen this? People are at home, they're all just like, oh yeah, just been speaking to him.
Like it's nothing.
There's so many amazing franchises that could be brought back together.
There is. The thing is, there's so much to choose from as well. So sometimes, and it takes, like I say, you've got to pick something and think, right, we need to go for this, and it takes a lot of hundreds of emails, phone calls, finding the right people. So yeah, we're at any one time we could be working on about 2,000 to 3,000 guests at any one point. So
Wow.
yeah, a lot of it comes down to availability.
Filming schedules.
Scheduling. Yeah, some people again it's just unobtainable. Some people just don't want.
You got David Arquette though from Scream.
We did, yeah.
He was a dishy boy, wasn't he? Just putting that out there. I was stood right at the side of him, and I was like, and Zach from American Horror Story.
Yeah,
what a
did,
beautiful boy he was. My blood pressure can't take stuff like this, Andy. Seriously, stop it. You mentioned the Majestic. So your childhood was at the Majestic Theatre.
Again, I always say I think that's part of what we do. If you want to make a success of something, love what you're doing, and that's kind of why I think what we've done has been kind of successful because we've got the passion, the drive.
Yes.
So one project that I took on at the minute is the old cinema in Ashton. So when I was a kid, when I was like 5, 6, the first film that I seen was like say Gremlins. I think it was 1985. That. Was it 1985?
Yeah, it was about
that. Sure
it
was, yeah. And I think Gremlins and Ghostbusters came out on the same date. I'm sure that was right.
Yeah.
So those are the earliest films that I remember watching. So yeah, again, going back to doing stuff that you love, the cinema came available in Ashton-under-Lyne, and it's derelict and it's gone into disrepair. So the kid inside me told me that you need to go and get involved with that and get it reopened and watch Gremlins again on that big screen. So
Zach was with you, wasn't he?
So we did an open evening down there. So we brought Zach down. We got Tim from the Lost Boys. So we actually got on the stage and played a little, I Believe on the stage.
Dave.
So we actually filmed all that and we've got some nice moments from there. But yeah, I mean, the dream is obviously, and it's not a dream, we are doing it.
Yep.
We're going to open it. It's going to be a multi-purpose venue. Obviously, we're going to do other things in there, like live music, etc. But bring the cinema back to life, and obviously, show them classic films. But then, like we've said, we're going to show Gremlins, but then have Billy Peltzer there so you can meet him.
Gosh.
During the interval, get pictures with
yeah,
him.
It's amazing. 'Cause, the Grand Theatre in Doncaster was derelict for years. So 16-year-old me, I got involved with the Friends of the Doncaster Grand Theatre.
Yeah.
And I got all these ideas, and I was like, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And we saved this theatre from being knocked down.
That's great.
They were going to extend Sainsbury's or something
over
it, and we saved it. It's still there now. It looks absolutely incredible. These buildings are so amazing.
Yeah, I think like theatres and cinemas are part of our heritage. It's such beautiful buildings and they need saving, and that's kind of because there was plans to knock that down. They was going to knock it down, maybe make a car park, So that for me kind of, it was an outrage. So we had to do something about it.
They did one in Doncaster. There was the old Gaumont Theatre. It was absolutely huge. And the Beatles played there, and Dusty Springfield did one of their last ever shows there.
Yeah.
And that's the same now. That's just a tarmac car park.
Yeah.
It's like
so much history and memories gone.
these legends.
I know.
Charlie Chaplin performed on that stage.
I think with local cinemas, obviously you had like Cineworlds have come in, and you got these bigger, multiplex cinemas that have came in. But I think now there's been a shift, and there's kind of like a demand for these like cool, even boutique cinemas, retro cinemas, where people will go, you know what, like it is great what what Cineworld offer. Places like that, but to go to an original cinema and watch a film,
seats,
exactly.
But like you said, then if you're playing Gremlins on the big screen, and then suddenly Zach Galligan walks on with Gizmo,
exactly,
and it's all.
Well, they're the kind of experiences we want to do. So you come to the cinema, you watch the film. Billy's there at the end. He does a Q&A. He even narrates parts of the film as well.
Wow.
And then at the end you can meet him, get pictures. With him and Gizmo.
Who would be up for this? Patricia Quinn with Rocky Horror.
She would, yeah.
Could you imagine? As long as there's a little tipple at the side for her, she'll be there with her lips ready. That would be incredible. A sing-along Rocky Horror with Patricia Quinn there.
No, it would work. Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
we need to make a big list and tick these off.
I'm making lists already. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
So what's the future going to be? Where do you want to go with all this? You're conquering the world.
Yeah, we just like I say, we never stop. We never, like a kind of. With the UK now, we kind of done the UK. I think next year we're gonna do London and maybe somewhere in the Midlands as well. So you can come to that one. Yeah, and then
you better get dressed up.
There's some other places as well that are on the radar. We're opening a few this year. We're opening Yorkshire. We're opening Newcastle. But I think after that it's kind of global domination. I think it's the world's our oyster. We're looking at multiple places. We was in Canada not long back. I had a few meetings over there, so America's on the radar. Saudi, Hong Kong, places like that.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Imagine it in America.
So-
We're great hosts, aren't we?
We are.
Seriously, we
We
know
are.
what we're doing on the stage, don't we? You know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. So you
Get inspired by this. My award show that I did.
Yeah.
Even that, I'm thinking, gosh, we have
Yeah.
to speak after this.
Yeah, definitely.
the idea is that this one has, and then I'm throwing things at it constantly. But because I think for America, San Diego Comic Con
Yeah,
is so well known, isn't it?
it is. Yeah.
I mean, the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and people like that attend there. I think you could ruffle some feathers, couldn't
I'm
you?
sure we could. Yeah.
Bring us with you, don't forget.
Yeah, I will do.
Yeah, and just be out there. So, and it is a family concern for you, isn't it? Obviously, your lovely wife is by your side constantly.
Indeed.
At the end of the day, the world is your oyster. It's been amazing to have you on. All the information about Andy's shows and Monopoly, all the love of horror, love of sci-fi, everything, it's all there for you to find. Book some tickets. Thank you so much, Sunshine.
Thanks for having me on. Thank
Great,
you. Thank you.
We've been
Thank
making
you
a
very
long
much.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back again for another episode of Creatives on the Couch. Take care. See you soon.
Thank you.